Last night was absolutely crazy. I kind of three-peated. So 3 back-to-back-to-back 38Xs in the past 3 days. I'll show you what I mean in a bit. But this slip right here was one of the 3 that almost hit a 6 for 6. We needed one more hit, run, or RBI on Langford here. This would have been a juicy 38X. That is not the only one. If we scroll all the way up here, you see this slip with Hunter Green. Note this down because this was a 4X, but some people in Discord actually managed to get a 38X on this because Hunter Green got taken off the board when I sent the slip a bit later. So they had to replace it with Draymond Green over points, which is what I told them to do. And that ended up cashing. So that's what I mean by I kind of three-peated, because this was the exact slip I sent to the Discord, which didn't cash because of Hunter Green. But the replacement pick I recommended hit either way. So good amount of people in Discord still hit 3 back-to-back 38Xs. I personally didn't. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, this was the first 38X I hit over on Sunday. Again, this was in the Discord. We all cashed this on a nice Arizona pick. Zach Gallen was the last one to cash us out on the pitching outs. Then Monday, I two-peated here with another Arizona pick here on Marte on his under total bases. This was Monday on the 38X. And this was about to be another 38X here with, again, 2 Arizona players. Funnily enough, 3 nights in a row, the Arizona players are cashing us. You can see a lot of people replaced Hunter Green with Draymond Green and ended up cashing this perfect 6 for 6. So here it is, $32 into 1.2K, $6 into $92. He just took a 5 flex, but he also turned into a 6 flex for 8 into 304. So we definitely did cash it very well last night, and this was another 4X. So we hit 3 4Xs. Some people hit 38Xs. It was a crazy, crazy night. And then for our slip from the actual video, honestly, I thought this was cashing. Everything was looking amazing. I even pre-told the Discord guys we're three-peating tonight because I was so confident in this slip. LeBron James was almost there. I believe he had 9 assists with like 9 minutes left in the 4th quarter. I'm surprised he did not get this last one. D'Lo started very hot. It took him a while to get that 17th point, but he got it eventually. And Kuminga absolutely crushed his fantasy score. Wiggins also started off very strong. I think he hit a 3 within the 1st quarter. It was looking like he was at least going to get 2, and then he did absolutely nothing for the rest of the game. And Golden State honestly just did terrible last night. But still a 4-2 day to start off the playoffs right and continue our streak that we've been having in the past weeks. So let's see what we got for tonight's play-in games. I'm going to do exactly what I did last night, do 4 NBA picks and then a mix of MLB. But before I get into the 6th man, I have to say, guys, this Trey Young pick, please, please, please do not be on his under. Just avoid it completely, guys. I don't care about his last 5. You can see his last 5 literally includes the game that he got injured and got 0 points. This is not really indicative of anything. This line is still too low at 22.5. If it was 23.5, I'd say it's okay to take the under. But at 22.5, the play on this is actually the over. And I know you guys are all on the under. There's 60,000 of you. I wouldn't be surprised if half of you guys watching are on his under right now. Go cancel that slip. Get rid of it. Take Trey Young's over if you're going to play Trey Young. I'm personally not. I don't really love it. But if I were to take a direction, it would definitely be on the more. And I could show you on sportsbooks, you're literally getting him at 23.5. So why would you go and take the under at 22.5 on PrizePicks when you could go get it on a sportsbook for a better price at under 23.5? You're literally paying a more expensive price on his under on this app compared to any other sportsbook. So you're basically scamming yourself. The correct play is the over 22.5 points if you're taking Trey Young. Please do not take his under. Now moving on to the actual picks. We're going to start it off with Jimmy Butler on his over 5.5 assists. This is a line I am very much liking. Terry Rozier is out and Jimmy Butler does get that higher usage with him out. And we're also going to be pairing him up with Bam on his over 39.5 fantasy score. Honestly, it's kind of a lot. We could go and check his recent game logs. He doesn't really clear this and he's not even really getting close to it. But I do think he could pull it off for this specific play-in game. Of course, it's basically one of the most important games of the season. And since we're pairing these two guys up, I think we get that nice positive correlation between Butler and Bam in the sense that if Butler is getting a lot of assists and maybe laying off the points, you're going to see Bam kind of crush his points projections, allowing him to get closer to that fantasy score. What I like most about Bam is his steals and blocks line. I don't know if it's on PrizePicks, but I could show you on a sportsbook, for example. If you go to Bam, steals, and blocks, he's set at 2.5. So we're expecting to get at least 2. And since it's going to be a tighter, high defense game, -5 towards the 76ers and a 208 total. So that's not a lot of points within a specific game. We're expecting a lot of tight, hard defense. So Bam's projected at that 2 steals and blocks, but I could see him edging on to that 3 steals and blocks. And every steal or block is an extra 3 fantasy score to his total. So he could easily get 9 fantasy score just based off his steals and blocks. Check his PRA, it's set at 32.5 PRA. So at a minimum, that's another 32 fantasy score because a point is worth the least here. It's worth 1 fantasy score. I'll just show you the scoring chart here so it makes sense. 1 point is worth a fantasy score. A rebound is worth 1.2, which is going to be a lot of fantasy score that he's going to be getting from this. Up to 12 fantasy score. I could see him getting around 10 rebounds tonight. And then the assist, if he gets 3 to 4 assists, that's an extra 4.5. See the blocks and the steals, it's where it's really at. And the turnovers are a bit negligible. I expect him to maybe get 2 tonight, so -2 there. But you could see how just off the steals and blocks, if he does get that 3, he's going to get 9 there. And then again, like I said, at least 32 from his points, rebounds, assists. That's kind of worst case. I think he's going to get more than 32 fantasy score from his PRA, but that's going to add up to a nice 40 to 42 fantasy score. If we go and check this projection model on RotoWire, he's set at 42.5 fantasy points, and he has 36 projected minutes. So those are two stats looking in our favor. And if we go and check his previous games here, again, he has not cleared this in the past 4 games, but these past 3 right here, he only got 19, 25, and 30 minutes. He's not going to play anywhere near 19 or 25 minutes. He's going to be getting at least 30 minutes for sure, and I could see him getting from 34 to 38 minutes. Now in this Hawks game, he only got 36 fantasy score on 48 minutes, which is absolutely terrible, but he also only got 10 points. He's going to have to do better than that and get somewhere around that 18 to 20 mark. See, this is a realistic game versus the Pacers. He got 40.9 fantasy score, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and only 1 block. If he gets 3 blocks, he's not even going to need that many points or that many rebounds, for example. You can also see the last 2 games he played for, he got 105 points here, 29 minutes, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 block. And that was on 29 minutes. So an extra 3 points and a steal, which is completely realistic in an extra 7 minutes of game time, would have cleared him on his over 39.5 points. You could see this in this game where the Heat only scored 91 points versus Philly here on March 18. He got 32 minutes, 20 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 turnovers without any steals and blocks, and still cleared this line at 40.6. So I'm kind of relying on that heavy defense tonight. I want to see steals. I want to see blocks, ideally at least 3. But even if he gets 2, I still think he clears his line. If he drops a nice 16 to 18 points, I think it's going to look very nice for us. For Butler, on the other hand, he has been doing very well in the assist department. You can see pre-All-Star break, he only averaged 4.6 assists per game. Post All-Star break, he's averaging 5.6. On top of that, like I said, Rozier is out, making Butler that main assister. And if we could check his recent games here, he's been doing pretty well in the assist department. 4 assists here on only 24 minutes of game time. 7 assists here in 29 minutes. 3 assists in 36. That looks like an anomaly to me, because every other game that he's getting good minutes, like here, 44, 39, 40, 39, and 35, he's averaging around 6 assists between these games. On top of that, you have the synergy between the 2 players. Bam has 58.5% of his field goals made assisted. So that is why I'm going with Butler on his over assists, Bam on his over fantasy score as the first 2 picks. Now the next 2, I'm going for the exact same concept, but honestly, I like this stack way better than Butler and Bam. I'm a bit iffy about these ones, but this one is very nice here. We're going with Kobe White on his over 4.5 assists. This is a beautiful play on its own. Heavy juice towards the over 4.5 assists. You can see on Pinnacle, for example, minus 136 towards the over, looking very nice for us. And I forgot to show you guys Butler, but he also does have juice towards that over 5.5 assists, all the way up at minus 131. So the overs are definitely the play on the assists for both Butler and White, as I just showed you. Then we're going over to Vucevic and grab his over 32.5 points plus rebounds, guys. I've taken this in the past week. You guys always see me take Kobe White and Vucevic because it's an absolute beauty of a pairing. Now the thing is, I normally like to take either Vucevic PRA or even his fantasy score, but I do think both these lines are too high. And his PRA, for example, I'll show you on a sportsbook what he said at, and there is juice towards his under. So points, rebounds, and assists. You see here, Vucevic under 35.5 is actually juiced to minus 130, meaning his under PRA is actually the better play. But since we're stacking it, we want to find something that actually has some decent value. And his points, rebounds is that it's kind of at that 50-50 prop. And assuming Kobe White is going over assists, we're hoping that Vucevic is getting more of those points from Kobe White assists. And we can see here he actually has 78.5% of his field goal made assisted, compared to Bam, where it's much lower at that 58.5%. Vooch is a much better play to be stacking here with Kobe White, which is why I like this one way better than Butler and Bam. And there's also Vucevic's 20 points here. I kind of like it at 20. It's set at 20.5 on the sports books with a bit of juice towards the under, but at 20, I think it's a good spot, but I prefer not to have push lines in my entries. So I'm going to keep this 32.5 points plus rebounds as the Vucevic prop. Now, the thing I'm liking most about this Bulls lineup is that Ayo is still questionable. I'm seeing everywhere that Ayo is expected to play. I believe he's been practicing and kind of more in form. So despite the fact that he has that toss-up status, I do think he's going to play tonight. And I do think the sportsbooks are pricing him in playing tonight, which means if he's unexpectedly not playing, you're going to get a ton of value on both Kobe White and Vucevic. And it's exactly what happened last time I took these guys. If you saw that video, once Ayo was confirmed out, Vucevic got bumped to like 33.5, let's say, for example, and Kobe White had extreme juice towards his over 4.5 assists. So if Ayo does not play, this stack gets much better, but I still think it's good. Even if Ayo does play, it's not too much of a concern because, again, this is the play-ins, guys. Everyone is going to be playing down to the wire, and this game is even tighter than the Miami versus Sixers game, and it has a higher total. So you see better pace, more points, and a tighter game. So all that together makes this stack absolutely beautiful. To end it off, we don't have our demon prop yet, so we're going to go over to the MLB and grab it from here. We're going to start it off with Rendon on his over 1.5 hits, runs, plus RBIs. And if we go and check the MLB lineups, it's not confirmed, but Rendon is expected to bat first. And right behind him, you have Nolan at the second batter. So that is exactly who we're going to take as the demon props. So you can see here Nolan on his over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Again, I go over this concept pretty much every video, but if Rendon gets on base and Nolan runs him in, well then guess what? You got a hit for Rendon, you got an RBI for Nolan, and maybe Nolan even got a hit and got into base. So he gets a hit and an RBI within one single inning. Maybe Rendon also got a hit to get on base in the first place, and then he gets run in, giving him a run. So he gets hit plus run, that's 2, and then Nolan would get a hit plus RBI, which would also give him 2. And these two guys could potentially cash together within the same inning. On top of that, the more that the Angels are hitting, the more at-bats these guys are going to get, which gives them an extra opportunity to get that hit, run, or RBI. Very simple concept there, so I'm not going to get too in-depth in it. Let's continue this streak, guys. This is the slip for tonight.